Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we finally had a break in the weather. It's actually nice outside. It's above freezing. I think today's high is about 14 degrees Celsius, so I'm gonna take advantage of it, get lots of stuff done. I think today we're gonna start off by winterizing my 20 horsepower Johnson. It's a 1981. It's an old motor. It's been reliable, and I changed a foot seal on it in the spring before putting it in the water. So we're gonna pull it up here. We're gonna take out the little plugs. We're gonna inspect the oil and see if my repair in the spring worked out. And if it didn't, well, we'll worry about it next spring. But in the meantime, let's go get hooked up to it, and we'll drag it over to the garage and start. Alrighty guys, here's my 20 horsepower Johnson. Like I mentioned before, it's a 1981. It still runs beautiful. Doesn't look great, but it runs great. Alright, so down here, this is what I did in the spring. Is I replaced the seal that's in here, and there's a little brass bushing, and I also replaced the shift lever. And yeah, parts are hard to find for these now. I'm telling you, they're especially getting older like this. The nice thing about this foot is this is the split foot right here, so you're able to split it apart, not like the newer models, just a few bolts down at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain the oil in the foot, and then we're going to do some antifreeze inside of the engine block or the engine head. And so let's get draining the oil. All right, so the drain oil on this 1981 Johnson 20 horse, we have a lower screw here. This is the drain, and then we have the fill screw right up here. So we're going to be removing both of these screws, and we'll be draining the oil into the pan. And let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I have this tool here that I made. If you watched my video on my Cobra, you'll see that I fabricated this just out of a chisel, and it fits perfectly into the screws. That way there, I don't strip them, and I'm able to apply some pressure just with a cresser wrench, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So we're going to start by removing my lower drain here, and then we're going to remove the upper to allow it to aerate and allow the oil to come out. And we're hoping for clear oil, not milky. So let's keep our fingers crossed and let's get at it. I don't know if you guys saw when it came out, it looked like there was water. So I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at right now. There was a bit of water inside. The oil is milky, a little milky, not the way I wanted to see it. So that is not a great sign. So maybe the repair I did in the spring didn't work. Now I'll let you guys know that when I took it apart in the spring, I did notice that the shaft had a wobble in it. Unfortunately, there's no way of me purchasing a new shaft. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do now. Okay, so it appears me removing the plug actually didn't film for some reason or other. Sorry about that. But if you see this black streak coming out, and if you notice, I just had a magnet next to it. And the reason why I'm putting a magnet next to it is I'm just curious if that is metallic or if it's actual filings. So when I put the magnet next to it, if you can see, it's actually drawing it over. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm going to put the magnet, there you go. See, it's pulling it over. So I know that that is metal debris. So that is not a good thing. A little disheartened right now, but you know what? We're going to look at this in the spring. So we're just going to do what we got to do. We're going to let it drain. I am not going to fill it with fresh oil. I'm going to leave it empty for the winter, and we'll keep it in the garage. All right, so here's my real funny way of filling the engine with antifreeze so that it doesn't freeze because it sits outside in the winter. Now don't laugh, but this is what I do. I have the ears over top of the water intake, and I have a hose coming up to a funnel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the funnel with some of the coolant, or sorry, not the coolant, but the antifreeze. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the engine and open up the little valve there, and I'm going to let it come down. And then I will shut the engine off once I see pink come out of the actual water pump exhaust, the outlet right up here. So yeah, you guys want to see that? Let's show you. I really don't care if you want to see it or not. I'm still going to show you. Well guys, that's it for the 20 horsepower Johnson. Things didn't go quite as planned. Unfortunately, it was quite disheartening there, but you know, it's something we'll get at maybe in the spring sometime. Or if I'm really feeling up to it, I'll pull the foot off and we'll do something this winter, but we'll inspect it next spring more likely. So stay tuned for that one. And you know what, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Come back anytime you want, press the like button, press the subscribe button right here. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.